Can you see my screen clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what I'd like for you to take away today is one is understanding what leadership means in today's context, and what conditions indicate that the leader is effective and successful, and how can you develop to be an effective and successful leader. Okay, so those 3 points. So first, what is leadership? Yeah, and can anybody tell me what you think is what you think of leadership? What it is? Anybody? Nobody? Right, because it's
I
a
think so. They're
yeah.
writing in the chat box. Yeah. So they have replied in the chat box.
All right. Now, how can I access that?
Okay. Maybe I can
Yeah,
voice it out
because
for them.
once I'm sharing, I think I don't have access to
I
that.
see. I see. Okay. So Lee Celine says for her, it is bringing out the potential in others, and for Chion, it means guiding others towards a certain goal.
All right. Those are good definitions, because I'm glad that nobody said, well, leadership is exercising your position as the boss. Yeah, because that's also leadership for some. So, well, leadership is a social process, yeah, led by a person that enables individuals to work together to achieve results. So there are 3 components once you start talking about leadership. One is really that there is a leader. This is the person that enables the whole team to function. 2 is there is the team, the people that the leader is leading, and third is there is the goal. So these are the 3 components: the leader, the team, and the goal. Yeah. So the leader is the one that's responsible to lead his team to achieve the team's goals. No? And it could be financial, operational, or both. And so leadership is really how he leads the team to achieve their goals. No? So that's why it is a social process. It's called social process. Why? Because he is leading and managing people. No? And because people are involved, uh, then things can easily get complicated, because we human beings uh, tend to have differences in how we do things, how we look at things. So a leader is the one that is making sure that first that each individual is performing according to his or her capacity, and 2, that as a team, they are working well together, so that then they can move forward to achieve the team goals. Yeah. So leadership is action. It's not a position. Yeah. And essentially, the role of the leader is to make things happen. Yeah. Now, in leading people, there is a shift from the old command and control mentality, no, to the new way of leading people, which is really setting directions, motivating people, guiding the people to their own objectives as well as the team's objectives. No? So here you will see that this is what the old manager or the boss do. Yeah. And this is what is the concept of what a leader means today. Yeah. So whereas before, the leader he's actually just controlling all the things that need to be done, and within strict limits. Yeah. Today, the leader encourages people, okay, to make the role their own and to do uh, their jobs according to their own capabilities. Yeah. So there is no control, less control. Two is the boss. Well, he doesn't really tie the activity or the role of the individuals to the broader objective of the team. No, there is no such thing. Whereas the new leader, the leader today, he creates a shared purpose, no, with personal goals aligned to team goals. So if you are the leader today, one is you deal first with the individual members of the team. No, they have their own personal goals, and you guide them. You talk to them about their personal goals, and see how they can, of course, achieve their personal goals. At the same time, aligning it to the team goals, because of course, the personal goals of each individual team member has to be aligned with the bigger goal, which is the goal of the team or of the group. No? Third one is the boss before. He usually operates on a need to know basis, meaning he shares information only what is required. Yeah. Whereas again, today's leaders, they are very transparent. Yeah. See, they share a lot of the information with the team to make sure that the team is aware of one, for example, like what is their goal. Two, how is their goal? Three, uh, how are they doing? Yeah, for example. So a lot of the information today is shared by the today's leaders. Yeah. Four, before the leader will just give directions. Yeah, and in turn, the leader before gets his directions from above, his boss. Yeah. So and then passes it down. Today, the leader, he will involve the team before making any decisions. Uh, of course, discussions are encouraged, no? And he will get inputs from the team before making the decision. Yeah. Next is before the old boss. Yes, he is very quick to take credit and also very fast in blaming people. Yeah. So as somebody who has been working uh, yeah, for it's around maybe more than 40 years. So I know exactly what this means, having the old leaders. It used to be that before, the leaders or the managers or the boss, they manage by shouting. Yeah, they will just shout. And that's it. They shout while giving the direction, and you are the subordinate. That's it. You do whatever they tell you. Yeah. So that's how they manage. Now today, if you want to be a leader, you are someone who will share credit. Yeah. If something good the team has done, it's all shared. That it's all that because of everybody. And if something goes wrong, then the leader usually is the one who takes responsibility. It's like command responsibility. Yeah. So this is the other differences. Next is the old leader. They dampen creativity. Yeah. They don't want change. Basically, they just want to do what they have been doing, right? Because they feel threatened if you start trying to do something. Yeah. It's like taking a risk. So they want routine. They want to do things the way they've been done for the past 50 years. Yeah. So there is no creativity, no innovation. Yeah. So today's leaders, they promote innovation, and they, of course, are open to risk taking, trying new things, trying the way you do things. And finally, before the old leaders, with regards to training the staff, uh, they they always left it to the training department. No, so if the training department was lousy, you will end up having no training. No? So again, to today's leaders, they view training people as one of their core responsibilities. No, because today's leader is very concerned about continuously developing every member of the team so that they can reach their potential. Okay, so this is just a brief snapshot, a brief picture of again the comparison between the leader before and the leader today. And the leader today, I would say, would be really more on, I would say, 21st century, yeah, turn of the century, the year 2000. Okay. Right? So now, one of the topics you suggested for the workshop is why everyone must learn to be a leader, right? And indeed, everybody has to learn to be a leader. Okay. First, studies show that among the leaders in organization, only 10% are what they call natural born leaders. Yeah. Whoa, so what do you mean by natural born leaders, right? So these are really those people who have the attributes, who got the traits, the values uh, in order to be a leader. No? So later on, we will be looking at, okay, what are the traits and values that would make a good leader? No? So 10% of current leaders have all this. So when they are leading their people, they they behave naturally, right? They behave naturally because it's them. They possess the unique combination of traits needed to lead a team in order to achieve excellence in performance. No? So, but that leaves 90% of us who do not have all the traits and the values that's required of being a good leader. And that is why we need to learn to how to be a good leader. Okay? So what is it exactly that is needed to be learned? Yeah. Well, first, let's look at what are the factors or the elements that make the success or the failure of a leader. Yeah. So one is knowledge, you know. So what do you know? And if you don't know enough, then maybe you will fail. Yeah. That could be one reason why you fail. Two is experience. What have you done? Yeah. And if you haven't tried it before, again, that could be a reason why you fail. No? Not enough experience. Yeah. Third is competency. What can you do? No? And maybe you didn't have enough practice in doing it, and that would be a cause for failure. Okay? And finally, there is your personal attributes. This refers to your traits, your attitude, your personal qualities. Yeah, and it's really who are you, who I am, knowing who are you, no, and maybe who you are as a person. You are not cut out for the job that you're doing. Yeah, for example, being a leader, and that's why you also fail. So, and the higher you go up the hierarchy in the organization, the more important is the personal attributes into whether you succeed or you fail as a leader. Okay? So it is your personal attributes that can make or break you as you go up the uh, ladder, the corporate ladder. Yeah. Okay? So when we look at the personal attributes, we are really looking at what they call soft skills. Yeah, how you deal with people, for example, and we are looking at it so much as really like when you want to learn to be a leader, you need to learn about your emotional intelligence. Yeah, in general. and about yourself in particular. Okay? So let's go to emotional intelligence. Yeah. So EI is the ability to recognize and manage our own emotions. Yeah. And also influence the emotions of others. Okay. That's the simple definition of emotional intelligence. Yeah. And it is really deemed as the key to successful leadership. Yeah. And not so much as IQ. No? So for example, like if it is just IQ, 20% of the time, when people with the highest IQs, they outperform those with average IQs. So that's only 20% of the time. All right. But whereas those average IQs, they outperform those with highest IQs 70% of the time. Okay. So it just goes to show when it comes to leadership, it is EQ that counts, not IQ. Okay? And in fact, studies show that 90% of top performers are also high in emotional intelligence. Okay? So there's a very high correlation between having a high emotional intelligence and being a very good, excellent leader. Okay? When we talk about emotional intelligence, there are 5 attributes that form what we call as emotional intelligence. Yeah, one is self-awareness. This is really understanding our own strengths and weaknesses, understanding why we do what we do, no? And understanding how our actions impact others. No? Another one is motivation, right? It is really more of understanding what drives us internally to behave in the way that we behave. Yeah. Third is self-regulation. This is more of exercising our emotions, controlling our emotions, and also exercising restraint and control. And this is again to make sure that your relationship with other people is not strained. Yeah. The other one is empathy. So this is more of like compassion. It's the ability to connect with others on an emotional level. Or another way of putting it is your ability to understand what people feel. No? Okay, so that is called empathy. And finally, people skills. It's more of like how to resolve conflicts between two people, the ability to work with other people, no? And of course, exercising leadership. So those are people skills. So these are the 5 attributes. But really among the 5, the self-awareness is the most important. Yeah, this is the most important attribute of emotional intelligence. And you need self-awareness before you can do self-regulation, empathy, and people skills. No? And later on, we will find that the self-awareness will come from your intrinsic motivation, yeah, inside you. Okay. So when we are studying how to be a good leader, yeah, it is really trying to learn about ourselves. Yeah. So self-awareness is the starting point of leadership. Okay? And okay, what is self-awareness? Again, is the skill of being aware of our thoughts, our emotions, and values, and how they impact our relationships with other people. No? So great leadership starts with high self-awareness because it is the foundation upon which emotional and social intelligence is built. Yeah. So in other words, it helps leaders link their emotions to the effectiveness of their interactions with others. Yeah. So it is difficult to develop the other attributes if you do not have this self-awareness. Okay. Right. Numerous studies and research have shown, in fact, that the strongest predictor of whether a leader will succeed or not is really his degree of self-awareness. Okay. So the higher the self-awareness of a leader, the more chances that the leader will succeed. Okay? So when we are studying how to be a good leader, the first thing that we have to do is really try to know and try to be aware of who we are. Okay? So understand ourselves. So nobody is perfect, yeah? And so every one of us will have some aspects of our human nature which, if we behave naturally, it would not be helpful in our being an effective leader. And so that's why we really need to know ourselves, so that then those aspects of our human nature where it may derail your success when leading people, then you can at least correct it. Now, so if you have no self-awareness, how can you correct? How can you change? How can you improve? Yeah. So again, leadership starts with self-awareness. Okay? So for tonight, because yeah, I've been talking a lot about self-awareness, there is really nothing like experiencing yourselves. What is self-awareness? Yeah. So I've prepared an exercise in understanding oneself tonight. And if I need you to have a piece of paper in handy because you need to write down a few things. Yeah. Okay. Uh, when trying to make you understand yourselves, we will be using a assessment called risk motivation profile. Essentially, what this risk motivation profile or RMP, it says that uh, in every human being, in our human nature, there are 16 what we call motives or psychological needs, yeah, which drive our behavior. Okay, all the behaviors that you do come from the 16 psychological needs, or it's also called basic desires. No, and these provide the motivation for us to behave in a certain way in order to satiate our desire. Okay, and that's why it's called motivation profile. Okay. So, but what I will be doing with you tonight is more of an abbreviated form. Okay, so for time purposes, the idea here is really just to make you experience what it means to attain self-awareness. Okay. Okay, there will be 7 slides, A to G, with 6 questions each. No? And each slide will have this. You are to check mark all that is applicable to you. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. So for example, if 2, you check. 5, yes, you say yes. 6, yes, you say. And then after that, whatever you check on 1, 2, 3, you put into number 7. Whatever you check on 4, 5, 6, you put into number 8, and then you deduct 8 from 7 to get your final score. This is the one that I want you to write down because this is your score for that particular. We're really looking at values here. No? So I want you to write down what is your score for number 9. Okay. So before we begin, I have 2 examples so that it's very clear. 1. So You are to check mark all that is applicable to you. Okay, what is very important is this, that you check what you are today, no? Not what you want to be, okay? That is a very different distinction, right? Um, you check because you think that that is applicable to you, because that is who you are. That is what you are. Not because that is what you want to be. Yeah. So again, I repeat that. Okay. So this is one example. Number one, you derive a lot of pleasure from eating. I said, oh yeah, of course. So you check that. You have a tendency to be overweight now. Doesn't apply to me. Number three, you know a lot about gourmet foods. Oh yes, and that I check that. You have a reputation for being a fussy eater. Oh yes, yeah, I do. Even though I take a lot of pleasure in eating, but I'm not, I'm very fussy of what I eat. Yeah. You have a tendency to be underweight now. It doesn't apply. You rarely look forward to meals now. It doesn't apply. So you've gone through the six and you have checked number one, number three, and number four. Okay. So after doing that, you enter how many checks you have from 1 to 3, and you have 2, no? So you put 2 there. For 4, 5, 6, you only checked 1. So that's 1, right? So you subtract number 8 to from number 7, and you have plus 1, okay? It is plus 1 because this is positive 2 minus 1, yeah? Okay? Any questions on this? Let's go to the next example, okay? The same questions, because again, this is an example. Only now you check number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, okay? So now to get what is your score for number 7, so you only checked 1 in 1, 2, 3, so that's 1. 4, 5, 6, you check 3. So 1 minus negative 3. So your score in number 9 is minus 2, okay? So in that piece of paper you will put here for, well, this is just an example. Example 1 is plus 1, your score. Example 2, minus 2, okay? So you will do that for 7, A to G, okay? So before I begin, you're all ready with your piece of paper and something to write, and also any questions, please you can open your mic if you have a question. No questions? All right. Okay. So let's start. Sivans, any questions, everybody? Or everything is clear?
No, sir, I think everything is clear.
All right, let's start. Okay, this is A. Check all that is applicable to you. You all have your number 9, 8.9. Everybody have your scores? Okay, so if you want more time, just open your mic and just say, I need more time. All right? Okay. Let's go to the next. Okay, you've got your number 9. All right. Next. So again, check what you think you are today, not what you want to be. Yeah. All right. Fourth one, D. Okay, got it. E. Okay, F. Okay, and G.
I think, sir, F. Can you go back to F?
Sure. All right. Okay. All right.
Yes, I think we can move on. Yes.
G. Okay, so you've got 7 scores, right? And I hope that you marked it, whether it's for A, for B, or C, because later on you will do some matching, no? Towards the end of our workshop. Okay, so now that you have the scores, let me just go through with you what they mean. Yeah. Uh, okay. Okay, I think I've got problems here. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so the A, this is what the score means, yeah? So if your score is +2 or +3, these are your traits that you are sensitive, you fear failure, you worry about being rejected, and generally you've got low self-confidence, yeah? Because you tend to doubt yourself. And yeah, before I go on, there is no such thing as good or bad, okay? Again, take this as who you are, and this is just really being aware of who you are. So don't think about, oh, this is good and this is bad. We don't use such terms here. Okay. Now, if your score is -2 or -3, you're somebody who is self-confident and you deal with failure, criticism, and rejection constructively. Yeah. To you, like failures are lesson are occasions to learn. No, you learn from your failures, for example. So that's for -2 or -3. So as opposed to the +2 or +3 who are sensitive, if you are -2 or -3, you are not sensitive to criticisms. You take it very well. Yeah. Now, if you have score of -1 or 0 or +1, which it means you're average. Okay. Average scores means that sometimes you can be sensitive. Yeah. At other times, not sensitive. No. So it depends on the occasion, and it's only temporary. So, and that's why you're average. It's unlike those, if you've got score +2 or +3, you are really sensitive. Every time somebody criticizes you, you become sensitive, you think about it, and if it's really very bad, you even lose sleep over it. No? Okay, so that's the difference between having an average and having this. All right. Okay, B. Those with +2 or +3, you are deemed as principled. What's important to you is the code of conduct. Morality is important. You're somebody who people will feel trustworthy. Who you're loyal. You believe in my word is my bond. Yeah. So meaning that once I give you my word, you can hold me to it. Yeah. And you do things the right way, no, the right way. Okay? Now, if you have -2 or -3, you are somebody expedient. It means like you will do things which will give you what you want in the easiest or quickest way. Yeah. So that's what we say by expedient. You're motivated by self-interest, and you're someone who is what we call opportunistic. Yeah. So again, opportunistic because if you see something which can lead you to what you want, then you will do that. Yeah. And you are not loyal. Loyalty is not an end for you. No. You are only loyal to someone if that someone can help you attain what you want. Okay. But if that person does not help you get what you want, well, you won't be loyal to him. Okay. Okay, so if you have -1, 0, or +1, it's average. No? So again, sometimes you are expedient, you behave expediently. Sometimes you behave uh, in principle. No? So again, and it depends on the situation. Okay. C, if you have +2 or +3, you are deemed as an idealist, humanitarian, altruistic, compassionate, fair, just, all of that. That would be your trait if you are +2 or +3. Okay? If your score is -2 or -3, you are deemed as a realist. A realist, a pragmatic person. Hard-nosed means, you accept whatever it is. No? So again, because you are a realist and you move on from there. I mean, you go through, you just accept the situation. Okay. So if you're an average, -1, 0, or +1, so sometimes you are an idealist, sometimes you're a realist, again, depending on the situation. So it's always situational for people who have average, average scores.
Actually, sir, I have a question before you move on.
Yes.
So I was looking at the B trait. So in any circumstances, experience like a good quality in your career, like the motivated by self-interest, since you said loyalty is not an end. So is that like a bad trait that we should look into?
No, it's not a bad trait. You know why? Because like I'm sure you've heard that actually, especially for business people or for their leaders, you need to have certain expediency also. No, that you need to know how to be expedient. Because, for example, like let us say that uh, there is a process which requires 10 steps. No? Now, if you are somebody who is a +2 or +3, well, you will go through that +10, the 10 steps. No? Even though actually you can remove step 3 and maybe step 7, no? And still achieve what you want to do. So the expedient people will do that. No? Because why? Because, well, it takes a shorter time to reach your objective. So is that good or bad? That's good, actually. So that's what I mean, that don't think of things as good or bad. No? It is just that that's who you are. That's how you do things. Okay? All right? Does that answer? Very good question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now it is like, because we are talking about values and traits, there is such a thing as being extreme. Yeah. So for example, once you become extremely expedient, all right, you have you now have crossed the line. Yeah. You are now not only expedient, but now you are unethical. Okay. You are now unethical. So, but we are just, so you will know that once you go through the risk motivation profile, the complete set, because it involves the extremes. No? But later on, I will talk about the extremes because this is where your blind spots will appear. But for the moment, let's just look at this. So, but again, so expedient is not necessarily bad. Yeah. Okay, D, +2 or +3. You are ambitious, hardworking, you are assertive. Yeah. So when there's a discussion and you get an opinion, you will be someone who will assert yourself to express what you think. Yeah. You're an achiever, and you're very focused. Once you you know that you want something or that you have an objective, you tend to be very focused in how you achieve that, and you enjoy leadership role. Okay, so this is one of those. Remember, we said, oh, 10% of leaders are what we call natural born leaders, right? This would be one feature where, yeah, you just enjoy leadership roles. Yeah. Now there are others where you may not enjoy leadership role. You enjoy more of following, like this one, the -2 or -3. You're easygoing, you're laid back, no? You are unambitious, and you enjoy being follower, no? I think we have been fed with too much Western and especially American concepts, yeah? That, oh, if you want to be successful, you be a leader, no? I mean, not really, not necessarily. And here actually we are talking about, we are equating success with being happy. Yeah, with being happy, because you can be successful but extremely unhappy. Not only that, you are successful but sick. No, I was telling Shivans that one of the manifestation of somebody who is under stress or so unhappy in the job is that the person gets sick. No, so that's how our body tells you. So when I say successful, it's really also happy, no? Getting results and happy. Okay, so this would be the +2 or +3. If they are asked, you are now, okay, you are now the leader of the team and so on, to them, they like it, they enjoy it. Okay. So if you ask someone who is a -2 or -3, okay, it doesn't mean that just because you don't like leadership role that you cannot lead. You can. No, you can. But only that it takes so much out of you. You know why? Because it's not natural to you. All right. What is natural to you is following people, no? Not leading people. So if you are asked and you find yourself in a situation where you are now the leader, now if it is temporary, no problem. Now we are talking about a protracted period of time where you will be the leader of people. Then you can, it's not necessarily that you will fail, no? Because you still can lead people even though your natural nature is that you prefer to be a follower. Because you may have other motives that is pushing you to succeed as a leader. And what does that be? One is we have seen, for example, this one. Number two, the B, no? You have, once you commit yourself, for example, let's say to your own boss, yeah? You commit yourself that, okay, we have these objectives, I commit to those objectives, and now he makes you a leader. And so even though naturally you don't have that inclination, but maybe your boss sees some aspects in you where that's why he made you the leader of the team. Yeah. So you can function, only that you have to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Because your comfort zone is being to be a follower. Yeah. So this is all that tells you. Now, if you are aware, then you will know exactly why the moment that you are asked, hey, you are now the leader of this team, I'm forming an ad hoc project and whatever, and you don't feel comfortable right away, right? But if you are self-aware, you already tell yourself, okay, this is this is my natural self. I prefer to be a follower, but okay, the boss tells me to be the leader. And if you also are somebody who, once you commit, you want to fulfill your what you committed to, then of course it will give you the push to succeed as a leader. Okay. An average. So sometimes if you are told to lead, no problem. Sometimes you are a follower, no problem. Okay. So because you're average, you can be either or. But if you are a +2 or +3, and there is a group that is formed, and you are not the leader, immediately you will feel uncomfortable. It's like, why am I not the leader? I want to be the leader, right? Okay, that's why they enjoy this leadership role. Okay, for this, yeah. So just to recap, yeah, just because you enjoy being a follower, it doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot succeed as a leader. Only that you will be uncomfortable and you've got to be stepping out of your comfort zone in order to lead people. Okay, that's the difference between these +2s and +3s and the -2 or -3. Okay, but that's why you've got to be aware of yourself. Okay, sorry. Yeah, for some more of this, because we're talking about leadership. Okay, what happens here? What happens if you are not aware of yourself, right? And you are put into a leadership position, right? So because your natural inclination is to be a follower, although now your position is that of being a leader, what happens, you think? So actually, you will not exercise leadership as much as what is required. Okay. Why does that happen? Because that is you. You know, you don't enjoy leadership role. No, you enjoy being a follower. Only that you're put into a position of being a leader. So if you are just behaving according to your natural self, then you will have a problem. Okay. Chances are you will not be an effective leader because again, this is who you are. You enjoy being a follower instead of being a leader. So that's why it is very, very important that you are aware of yourself so that then you know that you have to tell yourself, you have to step out of your comfort zone because now you are in a leadership position. Okay? So that's what self-awareness uh, means. KE, +2 or +3, you are somebody formal, materialistic, you are somebody proud, dignified, you're, having all these ranks and titles very important to you. Yeah. Okay. If you are -2 or -3, You are somebody informal, casual, egalitarian, believing everybody's equal. Yeah. You're a down-to-earth person. You're humble. Okay. Right. Humble person. Again, if you're average, so sometimes you can be formal, sometimes you can be informal. Okay. Now here, materialistic, the desire to have a lot of money, to be rich, is in this one, the +2 or +3. These are the ones that would like to be rich, to have a lot of money. Okay? F, +2, +3. You're somebody cautious. You're risk avoidant. You would prefer to avoid taking risks. You can also be anxious person or a warrior. Now you're very easy to worry about all sorts of things. Yeah, so a warrior. Now, if you are -2 or -3, you are somebody who is a risk taker. You are somebody who is calm. Yeah, to you, having danger is a thrill to you. Okay, but for the +2 or +3, danger is definitely something that is very, very stressful to the +2 or +3. Okay, so for the -2 or -3, you are a thrill seeker, yeah, a risk taker, and therefore you also tend to be calm, no, and relaxed and adventurous, always seeking out uh, thrills, things, you know, that can give you a kick. Yeah, you're -1 or +1, then you're average. So sometimes you're a cautious person. Oh, but sometimes you also can take risk. No, again, depends on the situation. You're average. G, +2, +3. You're somebody competitive, aggressive, argumentative. You're a fighter. Yeah. Um, somebody who experiences road rage. Yeah. I don't know whether one of you drives and you are somebody who, if somebody cuts in, you will immediately blow your horn and so on and follow the vehicle for the next 10 kilometers. Yeah. So you are this +2 or +3. But if you're -2 or -3, you're somebody cooperative, harmonious, peacemaker. Yeah. You avoid conflicts. Yeah. And you are somebody forgiving. Yeah? Okay. And another way to do it is the +2 or +3. It's always, once there's competition, I win, you lose. Yeah, it's always that. Whereas the -2 or -3, win-win. Yeah, both of us win. Yeah. So those are the differences. So if you're -1, 0 or +1, you're average. So sometimes you're competitive, or sometimes you are cooperative, sometimes you're harmonious, and so on. Okay? Depends on the situation. Okay, so did you take notes regarding your scores? Yeah, I hope you took notes of like what are the traits that you have given your scores. Okay. Now, aside from these 7 traits, actually there are also other traits which are very important to be an effective leader, which I didn't show here. One is, of course, being a good communicator. Okay, this is a skill, but a leader needs to continuously communicate with his team. Yeah, be it the team's feedback, giving feedback on how the team is doing, or giving feedback to each team member. Yeah. From research, it has been found that the most major reason why employees are disengaged is the lack of communication from the leader. Okay, so again, bear this in mind. If you want to be a leader, you need to communicate. Okay. Now, those who are by nature sociable, like you like to be with your friends most of the times, you will have an easier time to communicate. Okay, why? Because to you, being with people is very natural, and most importantly, you like to be with people, right? But if you happen to be somebody who's a weak striving for social contact, yeah, so meaning you are an introvert, for example, you are happier if you're by yourself. Yeah, you find it stressful if you are with a lot of people. No, so if you are an introvert, then you've got a disadvantage, a basic disadvantage, because you by nature do not want to be with people, right? So therefore, when it comes to communicating with your staff, with your employees, again, you've got to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah, you've got to tell yourself. So first, you've got to be aware, right, that if you are left to yourself, you will not see your people, right? Maybe you can text them, you can uh, send emails and whatever, but like even like call them or what? Maybe you don't want. Maybe text them only, no? So you've got to tell them, you've got to tell yourself, being aware that you are introverted, that by nature, you will not tend to communicate with your people. And therefore, if you are aware of that, and because you know that it's very important to communicate, then you tell yourself, hey, come on, huh? Step out of your comfort zone and, okay, call your people, talk to them, mix with them, and so on. Okay? So that's what, again, by being self-aware. Okay. All right. So far, what I've done is given you some traits. These are just 7 traits that I picked out, and they translate to traits depending on your scores. And what would be having that trait? What would be a natural behavior for you? And what would be uh, a behavior which is required to be a good leader, but because of your natural self, you've got to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah. But you will only step out of your comfort zone if you are aware. Okay. If you are not aware, you will just behave naturally. Okay. So again, my example is just to reiterate, you need to communicate, but you are an introvert. So if you are not aware of that, what you do is you just communicate very sparingly with your people. Okay. So therefore your people will feel neglected. Yeah. They don't know what you're thinking. There's lack of communication. Yeah. So, and before you know it, you've got demotivated employees. And as a leader, you will be failing. Okay. But if you are now aware that you are introverted and that your natural tendency is not to talk to your people, then you can tell yourself right away, you've got to step out of your comfort zone. You've got to go out there and talk to your people, engage with them. Okay. Right. So self-awareness, important to be an effective leader. Okay. So here, just to reiterate, your basic nature influence your management style, right? Of course. Why does it influence your management style? Because, well, given your nature, you will behave in a certain way. Yeah. So remember again, how you behave with other people will all depend on your human nature, your nature. Okay. So my example of the introverted, that he will be having difficulties in communicating with his people, mixing with them. That is one example. Because then, if you are not aware of that, your management style is like managing from behind the door, right? You're like a phantom, yeah? Everybody knows the boss is inside that room, yeah. But like, yeah, I've never spoken to him for more than 1 minute, and sometimes in a day I don't speak to him. Yeah, so that could hinder your effectiveness. So you've got to be aware, so that then you can do something. 2, you have to be aware of your blind spots, okay? Because they are the ones that create misunderstandings and conflicts, okay? So this is the one where I referred to earlier, where if you've got extreme, if you're extreme expedient, you become actually unethical, yeah? But if you are extreme, also very principled person, you become what? Righteous person, okay? So again, if you are a righteous person in an organization, you could have issues, okay? Because to a righteous person, everything is black and white. Hey, the real world is not black and white, yeah? So, but if you are not aware of that, then you will be deciding, you will be behaving towards your staff. It's always black or white, no? And you will have problems with your staff if that's like that. Okay. So again, by being aware of yourself, who you are aware of your blind spots. Now, blind spots are defined as that particular behavior uh, which everybody is aware of except yourself. Okay? Usually, it is ourselves that we are not aware of what are we doing? What is our impact? No, we are not. For example, uh, again, an extreme, somebody who is a leader, yeah. Uh, how about letter? One of the letters is like you're comfortable to be a leader, right? But there are some who are very extreme. No, they are not only leaders; they are controlling leader, right? They control every aspect of what their staff do, yeah, or where they go, or everything is controlled by the leader, right? So again, that is again a blind spot. Why? Because you have a problem, right? Sure, you want to be a leader, but you are extreme, no? You want to control everything now, no? So again, that is a blind spot. So it's very, very important that you are aware of what are your blind spots, because those are the ones that would lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. And definitely will also lead to demotivated staff. Yeah. Okay. 3. Another reason why it is very important to be self-aware of who you are is because we have this tendency to impose our values on others. Okay, uh, this Stephen Rees calls this principle of self-hugging. No, we believe that our values are the best, but not only that, we also believe that our values are good for the other people around you. Okay, and therefore they should have the same values as you. No? So you are imposing your values on others, and again, this can result in dysfunctions, conflicts, and employee turnover. So, for example, yeah, uh, you are the leader, and you are by nature very organized. No, so if you want to do something, oh, you have a plan, you've got some timelines and everything. No, now you're dealing with a staff who is spontaneous. He believes in working. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I know when it's due, but I'll do it my way. I hate putting timelines and whatever. So if you are the leader and you are highly organized and you are not aware, what do? You start scolding your staff, right? The employee. Why are you, so sloppy? Why are you not, why can't you complete your work according to the timelines and so on? No, why don't you plan and so on? So you are imposing your value on your staff. Okay, when the issue actually should be can you complete and submit your work on time, right? That is the issue. So, because what is happening here is different work style arising from different values, okay? You, the boss, value orderliness, yeah? Your employee, your staff values spontaneity, okay? So, again, so that is where you will be conflicted, and again, if you conflict too much, your employee will leave, okay? You will fail as a leader. Okay, so it is based on this tree why it is so important to be aware of who you are, how do you behave naturally, right? And because these are emanating from your values. Okay? So again, in summary, one needs to be aware of what is in your human nature, which if you would act naturally, will derail your success as a leader. Okay? If you do not know what it is that is jeopardizing your effectiveness, how can you change? Okay? How can you improve as a leader? So you must be aware of who you are. Okay? People have spoken about leadership style. In fact, this was the other questions that was asked of me to be covered in this workshop. What leadership style is most suitable for your personality? Okay, so okay, of course, your leadership style will depend, of course, on your personality traits. No, and people love to categorize styles of leadership. And okay, let's just go to among the common ones. Yeah, just we go through this. One is being autocratic. So here, the leaders make the decision without input from anyone. What is the trait of this leader? He's supremely confident. Yeah, and it's of course rarely effective because the your staff, your team members don't feel like they belong. No, all they do is just take orders from you. No, okay. Again, that was good 40, 50 years ago. Definitely not good like among you. Everybody here that's in this workshop, you will not stand for this. Yeah. Bureaucratic style. The leader goes by the books. Again, what is the trait? Somebody who is overly concerned with power and procedure. Yeah. So here, this leader, he does take inputs from his staff. Yeah. But as soon as the what is being suggested or the idea goes against existing policies or existing rules or the way it has been done before, then he shuts it off. No, he doesn't want to do any changes or do any deviation. He just wants to follow what needs to be followed. Okay, so this is the bureaucratic leader. So again, this would be rarely effective. The third one is the laissez-faire. The leader gives a lot of authorities to staff, no? And the trait here is that he trusts the staff. And this is more for startups, yeah? Startups, there are just a few of you and you really need everybody to be like independently do your thing, no? So there's a lot of authority. But again, in the longer run, this is not so effective because then there could be problems in how the staff will develop. You know, they're so specialized in what they're doing that there is no development in terms of, for example, managing people, no? Or, for example, dealing with clients. So there is the tendency that they will be so specialized in what they're doing and their development is held back. No? And so here, they're only sometimes effective. Next one is transformational. The leader is constantly pushing staff outside of their comfort zone. Yeah, they're always pushing the boundaries. And the trait of the leader is somebody who is always trying to improve things. Yeah, how can things be improved? No, and here again, it is more of as to whether there will be enough guidance and for the staff, because here the leader is just constantly trying to ask the staff to improve this, improve that, no, and introducing change, for example. So it could be chaotic, and well, it could be effective, but mostly for a very brief period of time. No? It's not it's not a leadership style that can sustain you over a period of time. Yeah. Transactional, the leader rewards staff for their work. So here, he's a leader who believes that rewards motivate performance. Yeah. So if you tell people that, hey, if you perform, you get rewarded. No. Now this is true, very true of certain industries, but for example, investment banking or even fund management. Yeah, where the rewards are quantified. Yeah, the rewards are quantified via performance. Yeah, so for example, like if you make X, you will be rewarded equivalent to 5 times of what you make, for example. Yeah, so it is very specific. No, now of course this works, of course, in some organizations, but again on a sustainable basis, uh, it is sometimes only effective. This is precisely because of this that I'm sure you've read a lot about people cheating, no? Showing false profits, false results, right? Why do they show false results? Why? Because they want to overestimate, they want to show big profits. Why? Because their bonus depends on the profits. Yeah. So, and there are more and more companies moving away from this strict uh, performance and reward, no? Because it can backfire. Okay. There is a democratic style, so the leader makes decision based on input of staff, although of course he makes the final call. And the trait of this leader is that he values staff input. No, he trusts his staff. No, and he gives them authority, and he likes working, getting inputs from the staff. And this particular style is commonly effective. Yeah, it is commonly effective. And the other style is coaching, which is even more effective than the democratic, because of course the coaching style is a leader that makes decision, of course, based on input of staff. Of course, he still makes the final call, being the leader, but he also identifies and nurtures the strengths and weaknesses of his staff, no, in order that he can know how to motivate them, no, so that then the staff will work in a happier way and more motivated. All right, and also that this particular leader, the coaching type, will coach the team to make sure that everybody works together. Okay, now a team can perform better if the team members work close together, right? And the team members work close together if they trust each other. Okay? And the trust comes from what? If they have similar values, okay? They can understand each other. So if I'm one team member and I value this sense of order that I need to plan, and there's another team member who also shares the same value, you will bond together, you will click together, and you will work very closely, easily, right? But unfortunately, again, each individual is different, and the larger the team is, chances are that there will be differences among team members. Okay. Now, a good leader will be able to spot the differences of values between among the team members and will intervene and do something before it results into a quarrel, right? Because once members of the team are quarreling and have conflicts with each other, then of course the performance of the team will suffer. Okay, and as the leader, you will fail. You will not be as successful as the leader who can spot the differences right away, intervene, coach the members how to work together. Okay, so the coaching style is deemed as really the most superior type style of leadership. Okay, all right, and it is not surprising that the coaching style of leadership requires a lot of self-awareness. Okay, not only by the leader, but also by the team members. Okay. Now, there are four types of leadership motivation. I just want to uh, mention this so that you will again tie up with the coaching style of leadership. Yeah. Uh, there is the coercive type where the person will tell you, the leader will tell you, if you don't do what I tell you, then, you know, I have the power to spoil your livelihood. Yeah. So that is coercive. So, but then again, that's the type of leadership, well, since organization started. Yeah. Authoritative would be coercive. Yeah. The second type of leadership in motivating people is hierarchical. Yeah. So, as your senior, I can ask you for your obedience and your loyalty and do what I want you to do, or else uh, either like you will not be promoted, you will not get a raise, and so on. So you're using your seniority to motivate people to do their work. Yeah. The other one is reward incentives. So we have seen that in the style of leadership, right? No? So the performance. And here, the reward incentive. So again, it is, I will reward you if you perform. So you are motivating uh, your people to do the work by promising them the reward. If they do well, they will be rewarded well. Okay? And we know that this is again, this doesn't work. Yeah. So coercive, hierarchical, reward incentive. We know that these types of leadership, the way you motivate people to work, is not so effective. Yeah. And finally, we have values and purpose. So you use values in order to motivate people to work, to do their job, to achieve their objectives, to perform. Yeah. So, and this is again the most, this is what is found as to be the most sustainable, what is this type of leadership motivation, uh, where it can make you an effective leader while at the same time, of course, making your people also be satisfied in what they're doing. Okay? So it's the values and purpose. And again, this requires self awareness. Okay. Okay, so we have been talking about effective leadership and so on, what makes a good leader, and we have not really discussed like when do you say that a leader is effective or successful. Okay, so this is what it indicator one. Every team member is highly engaged. Okay, so what do we mean by that? When we say that a team member is engaged, it means that the, the staff comes to work very enthusiastically and he is committed to his work. No? So meaning he is happy to come to work every day. And so a good leader will hire only those staff, those people, those candidates whose personal motives and values match the values required in the job. All right, so that the staff will feel happy and fulfilled. So, what do I mean by this? Matching of values. No. So, for example, let's say you are the leader of the sales team. Yeah. And the sales team, one of their basic inherent uh, job is to call on people, meet people, right? Prospects for new clients, or look at or visit existing clients. So it is to socialize and to meet people. All right. So if you are the leader and you are looking for a member of your sales team, well, you would also look for someone who is sociable, right? Who values meeting people, as opposed to someone who values being by himself, meaning somebody who is introverted. Okay, so that's what I mean by matching the value of your team member with the value of the job. Okay, so a good leader will be able to do that. Okay. That is one way of having a team member highly engaged, that he is happy in what he is doing. And he is happy and satisfied with what he's doing when his values match what the values are of his job. Okay? So also a good team leader will make sure that the staff member will feel valued and appreciated. Right? And also, if a team member is being developed professionally, sent for training by the leader, they will also feel appreciated and they will feel highly engaged. So again, here, this is one of the indicators of whether you as a leader is effective. Yeah, it is when your team members are highly engaged. Okay? Two, the collaboration among the team members are very strong. Yeah, meaning that they work very closely with each other. There is very little conflicts or very little misunderstanding, or if there is, it's easily settled. Yeah, or resolved. You know? So a good leader uh, will make sure that one is that he coaches the team members how to deal with their differences, no? So that then by coaching them in how they deal with their differences, then they can learn how to cooperate and work with each other. Yeah. So that is again another uh, indicator of whether you as a leader is effective or not. Yeah. And three, of course, that team goals are achieved. No? So every team or a goal or a company have uh, objectives and goals, right? So if you are a team, uh, um, your team goals is always to support the bigger goals of the company. Yeah. So This can be operational, financial, or compliance, or HR objectives. So a successful leader exercises motivational influence, okay? Either to push or to pull the team, meaning you lead from behind, from the back, to achieve the team goals, okay? So these are the three indicators of effective leader. So if these three are present, then you can say that you as a leader, you are an effective leader. Okay? Okay, so now let's go to how, as a leader, you can achieve this, right? It needs certain qualities, okay, to be a successful leader. One is you lead, right? Okay, I can tell you there are very many people who are called leaders, but that's all they have. That's all. It's just the position. They are called a leader because of their position, but they actually don't lead. Yeah. So, but here you lead. You actually lead. You use your will, your influence, to have everybody in the team motivated to do their best, and to have everybody working closely and collaborating to achieve the goals of the team. Yeah. So you are very active, no? So you don't sit on your position. You actually exercise leadership. Yeah. So you would be very focused on your people, motivating them, developing them to reach their potential, and also on reaching your objectives. Yeah. Now, if it is in your nature, remember again, we saw, if it is in your nature that leading people is enjoyable for you, right? Then you have no problem because you will be out there leading them, yeah? And so you don't have to really think like, oh, I must lead them, no? It's, you're natural at it. But if you happen to be somebody, the -2, -3, like you are more comfortable to be a follower, then you have to be aware that your natural tendency is to be a follower, not to be a leader, right? And therefore, you cannot be a leader by following, right? You understand? So you have to step out of your comfort zone and to act and to behave as a leader, okay? And so that's why, again, it's very important that you are aware, right? Because if you happen to be somebody who is wanting to be more comfortable to be a follower, no, and you're more laid back, then you must tell yourself that now that you're a leader, you must step out of your comfort zone and act like a leader, okay? Because it is not something natural to you. Okay, okay, 2, you are honest and trustworthy. Okay, here that your people trust you. Okay, so whatever you tell them to do, they will do because they trust you. Okay, they do not doubt your words, they do not doubt your actions. Okay, so again, if it is in your nature to be honest, right? Uh, to like remember that person, the +2 +3, my word is my bond. Yeah, I am someone trustworthy. So then no problem for you because it is in your nature to be trustworthy and to be honest with people. All right. But if you happen to be somebody who is expedient, yeah, the -2 -3, right? Then you've got to be aware that by nature, you behave expediently, right? So what you decide and what you do, it all depends. What can make you get what you want as quickly or as easily as possible. So you must be aware that if you are that kind of a person, you must tell yourself, you cannot be like that. Or else, if once your people lose their trust with you, then that's it. You've lost them. Yeah. Then they are demotivated and maybe they will even leave. Okay. So again, here, self-awareness is required for those who are not naturally disposed to be honest and trustworthy. Okay. Okay, by the way, so for the one about leading, right? That is question letter D, all right? So if you can go back, what are you? Who are you? Yeah. So if you are -2, -3, okay, you've got to be very self-aware that you have to step out of your comfort zone to behave like a leader, okay? Because your natural self, you don't behave like a leader. That's, you're happy not behaving like a leader, okay? All right, so, and the you're honest and trustworthy, that is question B, yeah, question B. So again, if your score is -2 or -3, then be aware, right, that you are naturally expedient, and be aware that you need to make sure that your employee, your staff trusts you, finds you honest. Okay. Again, you will not be comfortable doing that because that is not your natural self, but that's how you should be if you want to be an effective leader. 3, you are humble. Okay. So like, for example, you do not use your seniority to tell people what to do, okay? You don't talk down to them, no? You can accept at times that you don't know the answer, right? And that maybe your team members will know the answer, right? And of course, for example, sometimes you make a mistake, right? And you accept, you acknowledge it in front of your team. Oh, you screwed it up. You made a mistake. So that's what you mean by being humble. And the team members will definitely appreciate that, and they will feel very motivated to follow you as a leader because you are a humble person. You can acknowledge that you can make mistake. You can acknowledge that you don't know everything. Yeah. So here, again, if your score is +2 +3, right? Because you are somebody who is very, what's this, sensitive to your seniority and so on. And as a senior, you cannot accept that you can make mistakes or that you don't know the answer, right? If you are very hung up on your seniority and being superior to your employees, yeah. So again, be aware that if you want to be an effective leader, you need to be humble. Yeah, you need to be able to accept or accept that you make mistakes or you don't know things, right? So again, you will be very uncomfortable with that because that is not who you are. But then if you want to be an effective leader, you have to be stepping out of your comfort zone. Okay? And that is letter A. Okay? Number 4, you are confident. Okay? You can definitely lead more people successfully if they can see that you are a confident person. Yeah. Uh, and you are not sensitive to feedback or criticism, or for example, bad news. Yeah. You can take it, and you see failure as a learning experience, and it's also a good example to show to your people. Yeah. That failure is not something the end of everything. Yeah. And so again, for those who scores, and this is Okay, I'm sorry, letter, okay. I'm sorry, the one earlier is letter E, okay? I'm sorry, you are humble, that is letter E. Sorry for that. And the number 4, you are confident, is letter A. Yeah, letter A. Okay. So here, if you are confident, so again, this is more for the -2, -3. You are a confident person. Yeah. So those, if your score is on the question A is +2, +3, so you must tell yourself that, okay, it is your nature that you are not so confident of yourself. You are sensitive to criticisms. You're sensitive to comments. But again, if you want to be an effective leader, a successful leader, you have to be able to take comments, okay? Criticisms, even failure, okay? But all it means is that once you're trying to do that, you will really be stressed. You will be very uncomfortable. But again, if you want to be successful, you have to do that. Okay? So to repeat, but if you are not aware of yourself, you will not be taking the criticisms head on. Yeah, you will try to avoid them because that is your nature. Yeah, you are sensitive. You will not want to listen to any negative comments. Yeah. So again, because that's your nature. So you have to be aware that that's your nature, and you have to tell yourself, no, you cannot be as you are, because to be an effective leader, you have to listen to negative comments, criticisms, and so on. All right. So again, self-awareness. Next, you are fair. Okay. What is a leader who, what makes you fair? Yeah, so you are somebody who is unbiased. Yeah, you don't discriminate among your team members, and you are someone who doesn't practice favoritism, for example. Yeah, so and here, so again, this is letter C. Okay, letter C, go to your letter C. So if you are -2, -3, you are somebody who is what? A realist or a pragmatist, yeah? Or pragmatic. And so here, because you are that, you are a realist and so on, you may have the tendency to be biased, no? Because you are saying, well, you know, that's how I see it, no? And you're being sometimes pragmatic. Pragmatic means doing things which are what is good given the situation. Yeah. So so again, be aware that if you have a score of -2, -3 in letter C, you tend to be a realist, and sometimes you can be biased, or you can be you can discriminate, uh, right? So just again, be aware of that, so that then you avoid being your natural self. Yeah? Next is you are comfortable with risk taking. Yeah. So here, um, you know, when you are a leader, there is very little instances where when you are trying to make a decision that there is 100% certainty. Usually it will be around 60, 70% maybe. Some 50-50, some 55%, and so on. Yeah, so taking risk is definitely something which is a part of leadership. Yeah. So, and if you are an effective leader, then you are somebody who would be comfortable in taking risk. Yeah. So this refers to question F. All right, if you go to question F. So if you are +2 or +3, okay, you are somebody who naturally is risk avoidant. You are not comfortable taking risk, okay? You are somebody anxious. You are somebody who worries a lot, yeah? So you avoid taking risks. So if you are now a leader, and now you are aware that naturally you will run away from taking risk, yeah? You will avoid risk, okay? But you know that now that you're a leader, and one of the responsibilities of a leader is to decide and to take a risk, yeah? And so therefore, you will have to tell yourself, because you know yourself, that you are naturally risk avoidant, that no, you've got to step out of your comfort zone and, you know, confront the uncertainty and decide and take risk, okay? So in doing that, you will be feeling very uncomfortable, all right? Very stressed, because that is not you. But again, if you want to be a successful leader, you will have to do that. You will have to be stepping out of your comfort zone. Okay? So that is F. And last, well, here you are harmonizing. Okay. When a leader is harmonizing, it means that there is peace and stability in your relationships. This one is your relationship between you, the leader, and your people. Okay. So you seek to settle problems amicably, right? You avoid confrontations, conflicts. No? So a leader who is harmonizing would react whenever there are pressures in relationships to resolve the problem, right? With a win-win solution, no? Whereas if you are the +1, +2, +3, yeah, this is letter G, question G. If you are +2, +3, how do you try to resolve something problematic with your relationship? You confront, you know, because you are by nature confrontational, okay? So the way you try to resolve problems with your relationship is totally different from how you resolve if you are somebody harmonizing, okay? So those who are +2, +3 in questions G, so be aware again that if you behave naturally, you will be jeopardizing your success as a leader, okay? Because why? You will alienate your employees, your staff. Because why? You are so confrontational and you're so argumentative, okay? Instead of trying to resolve the problem in your differences, okay? So again, if you are +2, +3, you tell yourself you have to step out of your comfort zone and you try to be harmonizing. Okay? Remember, the -2, -3, they are what you call win-win. Yeah, you are +2, +3, you win and the other one loses. Okay, that's not how it works. If you want to be a successful leader. Okay, so these are the various values, but there is also, again, I mentioned, you communicate consistently and meaningfully. Here, it is not only the frequency, but what do you communicate with your staff and your people? For example, do you talk to your staff not only about work matters, but also what? About their lives outside. Yeah. What do they do when they go home? Right? What do they like to do when they are out of work, out of the office, and so on? Okay, so that then your staff will feel that you are not looking at them as just workers, you are really looking at them as people, okay, who have lives outside the office. So you need to do that. So as I mentioned earlier, if you are socially, by nature, you are sociable, you've got an advantage, because to you, meeting people, talking to people is very natural. In fact, you're happy when you're doing that. So again, be aware, those who are shy or introverted by nature, I'm sure you know if you are that, you have to tell yourself you've got to step out of your comfort zone, because why? You need to talk to people. Okay, you need to constantly communicate with them, so that then you can connect. No, the idea is to connect with your people. Then you can truly be a successful leader. Okay. Now, of course, there are people who are not only so-called effective leader, there are some, we say, great leaders. Yeah. Okay. So what separates a great leader from a good leader or an effective leader, successful leader? It is those who can inspire their people. Okay. So this is again another value. Being able to inspire your people is brings you to another level as a leader. Yeah. Okay, so not everybody of us are capable of inspiring our people. So it's not really a necessity to be a successful leader to be inspiring. But again, that's what makes you as a leader from being just successful, but being a great leader. All right. So are you able to compare your scores with all this? Right. So do you have more awareness as to like which aspects of your nature where you had to step out of your comfort zone? Because if you want to be successful as a leader, that's what you have to do. Step out of your comfort zone. Okay? And be prepared to be uncomfortable. You will definitely be uncomfortable when you are behaving not in your nature self. Okay? But that is again only if you want to be a successful leader. If you don't want, then you can behave naturally. But of course, be aware that yeah, you will not be as successful as a leader. Okay. All right. With that, that's the end of the workshop. If you've got some questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Escano. We'll be taking on some questions now,
I can't hear.
and then we'll also be doing the photo taking. So all of us can just turn on our videos, and then we can just have one group picture. Before the taking,
Can you please repeat, because it's
yes,
still very soft.
yes. I'm saying after the Q&A, maybe we can just have one group photo also. Like all of us
Sure.
can turn on
Yes.
our video and just have one photo at the end. We
Right.
have some questions from Lee Celine.
All right.
Okay. So the first question is, what are some of your personal successes as a leader? And the second one is, how and when you learn the importance of being a good leader. I think that's addressed to you. Uh,
So the first one is what?
what are some of your personal successes as a leader? Your
Yeah,
personal successes.
I would say that I have had a good career, because I've stepped out of corporate life since 2008. Yeah. Uh, so in my particular case, I would say that, well, let me just, probably I was behaving like a millennial, like some of yourselves, uh, in the sense that I didn't really stay in an organization for a very long time. No? So in fact, in my career, I worked for 10 organizations. Yeah. And actually, the reason for that was the challenge to be able to start something, build up the team and be successful. Yeah, and that is how I did it, and it was really well. It's I didn't know it then. Yeah, I had no, to tell you, I had no self-awareness at that time. Yeah, so because I only get to know about this when I started doing research and studying and uh, what makes a successful leader. But yeah, I happen to be doing this. Right? In fact, if there was anything that I was not comfortable, was this communicating consistently and meaningfully, because I am somebody who is more comfortable by being by myself, not being with other people. Okay, and it showed because, for example, when it was time to meet clients, yeah. So being a leader, I was mostly in the treasury and corporate finance side, and you will have a lot of clients. And I always felt uncomfortable when it was time meet to meet them. Yeah. So, but then I felt I had to step out of my comfort zone and to yeah, go to the meetings and give a good smile and do small talks. No, so people who are introverted, they don't know. In fact, they hate small talks and they don't know how to make small talks. And to me, that was my major deficiency. And I knew about it because every time it was time to meet clients, I felt very uncomfortable. Okay. So remember I repeated it when I was going through the workshop that you need to be aware where your natural self is something that will jeopardize your effectiveness as a leader. Therefore, you've got to step out of your comfort zone to be a successful, yeah, to be effective. So yeah, this was really the one. But all the rest, yeah, I'm not. I've never been hung up on uh, titles and seniority or whatever. Yeah. So and yeah, all this. So maybe I was lucky enough that among all this, this was my deficiency. Yeah. All right. So, but again, we are all different, right? So I think what is important for you to take away is this is the values that are required, and to be aware. Where are you? Who are you? Right? Do you need to tell yourself to get out of your comfort zone? That's all you need to do, right? Because once you have these values, once you practice this, then you're able to fulfill the three things that indicate you're successful. So what are those again? Highly engaged staff, yeah, a very strong collaboration among the teams, very strong team dynamics, and third, achievement of goals. Okay, so if you are this, you will be able to do that, right? Any other questions? Well, if not, I have a question as to whether it's clearer to you the concept of what is leadership. Is that much clearer, or was your concept of leadership so different? Yeah,
I, I'm referring to the concept of leadership before this workshop.
I see.
Yeah. I think before this workshop, I can just share my own. I thought being a leader meant being more effective and efficient in getting work done. I wasn't totally thinking about caring for your team members, which I should. Maybe I have more clarity in it now. I
Right.
thought being a leader in more of the technical projects where you're not actually like working full time with your team. So in that scenario, you're a leader if you can just get the work done on time.
Right. Yeah. So it's more than that. Yeah. So I'm talking really about leadership in today's context. Yeah, in today's context, you really have to be a mentor, a coach. Yeah, so being concerned about how your people are developing. No, so but you can help yourself as a leader to have an engaged employees by hiring those again whose values match the values of the job. Very, very important. And that's one thing that actually can easily be determined, but many companies don't do that. And so what happens? They end up hiring somebody mismatch. You know, so one, you are left with an employee who is unhappy because he is doing a job which he is not naturally happy, right? And two, you will have low productivity from the employee, right? So that's why very important to always to hire the right people, okay? So that then you've got highly engaged people.
Hi, I just want to like
Yes,
contribute my thoughts.
Celine,
So
yes,
I think everyone is here because like we are to a certain extent self-aware that we are not the best leaders, which is
right.
why we're here to learn from you. But I think today's workshop was like very interesting because I think we all kind of maybe have met like a decent leader, or like
Uh,
we know what a good leader kind of like has to do. But I think you really point out the different traits.
right.
And yeah, I didn't realize like there are so many like distinct traits. And it's something that it's I think all of us will try to work towards, I guess, like at least like trying to challenge ourselves.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
So it's not really a question, but yeah, I think it's like today's session was quite interesting. Yeah,
Okay.
quite
Glad.
useful.
I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
Good. It's good. I think what I try to do in this workshop is to like try to present to you something where you can put your hands into, instead of talking about what's the leadership concept. There's so much literature about it. This one you can really sink your like, oh, humbleness is humbleness is a required trait or value to be successful. Why? Then you'll know why. Yeah. All right.
Mm, I think, is there any other question? If not, then we can move on to the photo taking soon.
I have a question.
Okay, sure.
So I want to ask you like, if your team member doesn't want to do work or he keeps like procrastinating, like what should we do? Should we push them or should we do something else?
Well, first is you've got to really, well, procrastinating means therefore that they've got this, the value there is somebody who wants to be spontaneous, okay? As opposed to somebody who is very orderly, who plans things. So procrastinate is always like delaying things, yeah? So there's no sense of order, but it also reflects that maybe he's got this sense of fear that what he's going to do is not good enough, so he doesn't have enough self-confidence. No, so here for somebody who constantly procrastinate, first is you've got to try to find out the reason, no, the cause. Uh, and the other thing is explain to him that the procrastination may impact, well, his performance, of course, but also may impact the greater picture. Let's say he's a team member, right? And so he's assigned a certain job, but his job actually is important to the completion of the job of the team. No, so you just have to explain to the person that the success of the team really will be impacted by his procrastination. No? All right.
Right, thank you.
I think that's more of talking over, like uh, making him realize the impact of what he's doing. It's more of that. You know? Because again, sorry to repeat, he is procrastinating because that is his nature, right? And he doesn't even realize the impact that he has on the team, no? Because he's just behaving naturally. And that is why really this thing again about self-awareness, that if he is now aware that he is negatively impacting the team with his procrastination, and if, of course, if he believes in being a part of the team, then he will cease being, he will cease his procrastination. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions that we can take? Should we move on to the photo taking now? Then we can end the workshop here. Sir, can you stop your screen sharing? Then we can just turn on your videos and click the picture. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Can you stop your screen sharing? Then all of us can.
Oh yes, yeah, sure.
Then all of us can be on the screen. Yeah. So can I ask everyone to just turn on their videos for the photo taking?
Yes. Well, we still have some shy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 shy colleagues of yours.
Is there any issue then anyone else turning on their video then? No?
I think the others.
A bit shy.
Welcome.
I think I've clicked for now. I don't think. Yes. Yeah, everyone can just smile and look at the camera. If you are wearing
All
mask,
right.
if you can take off your mask for 2 minutes also. Okay, smile. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I think that's all. Any last comments or anyone want to share their feedback on the workshop? If so,
Okay, so good luck. I wish you the best. When anybody of you who are graduating and joining the workforce soon. Right. Actually, if you can tell your boss, I know who I am, I think they'll appreciate that.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay, thank you too. And good night.
yeah, thank you all for joining us today. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Escano, for your precious time and sharing with us the leadership about leadership. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good rest.